here the panel discussion of fundraising versus investment challenges. So this is a very important landscape for the growth of startups. And we have the panelists, we have investors, we have advisors, we have food tech professionals. So I will ask everyone to introduce yourself for the benefit of attendees. I will ask Jose, start introducing about yourself, what exactly you do.
Yeah, I am Jose Fernandez. I am based in Dubai the last 11 years, and I have traveled intensively across the whole region. So I am an angel investor, entrepreneur in the food industry, especially in the manufacturing and in the beverage industry. Very much related to the ingredients. Recently, I started to be much more active as a mentor, advisor in different startups. And I am also expert evaluator for the European Union in the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. So I am in that scene of the food industry as a whole. And it's very interesting to see all the opportunities you are describing. I will go into that as well. Happy to share with you the panel.
Sagar, as an investor, you
No,
can talk
thank
about
you.
what exactly your segment of investment or
Absolutely. No, Rajan, thank you for putting this together. Pleasure to meet all the panelists. I've been in the region again for 13 years now. Previously, I was a partner and investment committee member at a firm called Evolvance. We had the India fund as well as the Middle East platform. We've deployed close to $550 million between India and Middle East across 33 plus investments. And Rebel Foods was one of the investments we had done. We also had 15 restaurants at a point of time. So I've seen the journey from traditional brick and mortar restaurants all the way till cloud kitchen model. And I've seen the evolution of the market over here as well as an emerging market like India. So interesting, my experience spanned across 15 years of investing. I also obviously sit on a couple of accelerators in India, looking at investments more on the fintech side because that's where I focus majority of my attention. But obviously these sectors is what we have done historically as well. And I personally invest an individual capacity in a couple of accelerators. So that's another way where I access to founders or meet them more regularly and discuss and work with them. So that's a quick background on what I have done and how closely I've seen the space over here.
Thanks. Tushar, you tell me what exactly you do, the activities in Cloud Kitchen, advisory.
Thank you, Mr. Rajan. So I am a corporate finance guy, 20-year-old experience, worked for Deloitte and Touche, worked for Brand Capital, the fund of the media house Bennett Coleman. I've handled debt, raised almost $2.5 billion of debt for Systema's India unit, and was CFO with a company called Distribution Logistics, which is owned by Guggenheim Partners, the American fund. In the last 5 years, primarily into investment management, I have an angel network called Saffron First, which has around 38 angel investors and closely aligned with a lot of venture capital funds as well as private equity funds for getting them good deals. I also work as an investment firm by helping mergers and acquisitions and debt. So this is what I do.
Great. So Vandana, you tell me about Vandana Tulani. You tell me about your.
Yeah, hi everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
So I have worked in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years in investment banking. And this is my 6th year back in India in investment banking. I run my own firm out of WeWork, Gurgaon, which is in Delhi, NCR. We do fundraising, mergers and acquisitions, business consulting, pitch deck making, and financial modeling. And we are connected with 175 investors globally. And I'm very thankful to Mr. Rajan to give me this opportunity. It's a great platform to be on.
Thank you. Now, Joseph, we talk about you are a food tech expert. what are the emerging food tech models for investment point of view? What are the emerging food tech models in your landscape? I think you are muted. What did you?
It's
Yeah.
okay. So I think it's a very hot topic in the region. It's the food security, right? So whatever is related to enhance the local capabilities and bring new technologies to enable the region to produce and to be more self-sufficient, this is in the agenda. So for me and for my network, from the investment angle, but also from the innovation perspective, it opens a wider space to innovate, not necessarily in a vertical, but in all the periphery of this vertical. For example, we are talking about the cloud kitchens, and probably the space that would be more interesting for me would be in the automation of these processes or the forecasting, right? How to use this data, because we are assuming that the data it's being used efficiently, right? So challenging these assumptions, how the AI is integrated. So I think those aspects would be very interesting. Also, I would suggest working on uh, using local products, right, to pay more attention to sustainability. So that would be an advantage point for all these players, right? When they can actually label themselves as using local products, right, or being more sustainable. So whatever, yeah, I think whatever brings any brand or services closer to the customers and to the values that are more aligned with the client's values, I think it's the good path.
Okay. Thank you. So Sagar, you tell me for the cloud kitchen space which is evolving, what is the benchmarks of investing? If a cloud kitchen startup approaches you, what do you look at?
See, I think one of the important things, that we always look at when we're looking at a cloud kitchen kind of a model is to see how scalable the model is, right? At the end of the day, you want to be in a situation where the model can be scaled up not just the regionally, but nationally and internationally at the same time, right? You want to make sure that you're not looking at a 50 or 100 kitchen model, you're looking at a 500 kitchen model, right? That's where the Domino's and the McDonald's of the world have done very well, right? Practically, if you think about it, they have a real estate outlet, but largely it's a kitchen based model for them, right? So I feel that if one of the strongest things that we're looking at is how big the scalable model is, what is the total addressable market, and how can you effectively capture this market. So that's one strong factor, obviously. And second, what model are you following? Are you still following the real estate model? Are you following the asset light model? Are you following the food model? What are you dependent upon, right? Are you dependent upon acquiring customers? Are you dependent upon acquiring brands? Or are you dependent upon providing real estate, right? So those are three important things. And how strong the technology is playing in the entire role that technology is playing in the entire process. Is it technology making it faster, smoother, efficient, or not, right? Or is it technology for the sake of providing CRM system or a little bit additions here and there, right? So those, I think, three important things: how scalable the business is, what technology you're providing, and where the opportunity lies, whether it's an asset light model or an asset heavy model. Those are three important factors that we look at in any cloud kitchen model. And second, obviously, and I think the management and the founders remain the key in every business, whether it's a cloud kitchen or a non-cloud kitchen model. How big what's the background of the founder? Why is he doing this? What's the story of the company? And why do we think that they're going to do better than most of the players in the market? So when you combine these two and mix it up, obviously you get a better sense of whether this business model will work with this management team or not, right? A lot of times I've seen that an average business model is executed very well by a strong founder and a strong management team. So it might be an exceptional cases like that. However, in a cloud kitchen format, if you ask me which category we will go for, I think now after doing the brand play, we'll probably go for the kitchen as a SaaS model. I think SaaS model is a very strong model. I think it's almost like acting as a utility company or a real estate company, where despite not having the high expenses of high scale or upstreet real estate, you can still provide a massive real estate infrastructure to restaurants, cook for them, obviously deliver for them, and charge them massive percentages, give them the brand presence, and by combination of marketing of what the brands are doing and what you're doing, I think there's a lot of potential to scale this up over here in the region as well and internationally as well at the same time.
That's great. So, Vandana, tell me, I mean, you have been approached by a lot of cloud kitchen startups, especially from UAE on European markets. So, what is the feedback of the investors you get, when they pitch?
Usually, the investors are pretty much active in this space. In fact, investors are investing a lot in this space nowadays, post pandemic. They are looking at a lot of things, that whether women are being given opportunities in this space or no. Also, the technology, and definitely if the company is making good revenues or no. So these are the three factors which an investors are looking in this sector. And my advice to all the founders here is that approach more women and get them on the cloud kitchen, since it's the pandemic and many people have been off jobs lately. That's my strong recommendation. Otherwise, this space is a hot sector. Investors are investing, so please get on with your pitches and start presenting it to as many investors as you can.
I know this is the right segment for the women entrepreneurs to enter in because already they have the background experience of cooking. So they could become a better entrepreneurs, I guess so. So, Tushar, what's your outlook on the GCC MENA region, which is growing fast in the food segment, like Kitopi? Do you think more Kitopi models are coming in?
Yeah, so the presentation by Red Seer was quite eye opening, and I already had a sense of the exploding cloud kitchen scenario in the GCC MENA region. But to me, there's a lot of uniformity in the region in terms of each country, and hence the scope for plug and play and standardization of processes and technology is very much there. And also the interconnectivity and the infrastructure is good in the region, so the costs for logistics and third party logistics companies relatively lower as compared to some countries like India. So I am pretty bullish, and I feel that as of now there is more steam to go. Double digit growth is here to stay.
What is the Sagar? You tell me what is the forthcoming new emerging models are coming up? Anything which is disruptive, which is going to disrupt the cloud kitchen space? Anything you foresee after the
See,
pandemic?
I think it seems like we've gotten to a model which is far more effective and cost efficient at this point of time, right? Uh, Beyond this, I think the only other model which I still don't think it's a scalable model is the home model is the home cooking model, right? Which I don't think is a scalable enough model and standardized operating model for you to scale it up at a at a large play across multiple brands, right? So I think where we've gotten to after 15 years of I would say evolution in the restaurant industry, from moving the gradual steps in every direction. I think we've gotten to a very fairly robust model today with cloud kitchen. Expansion has become very, very easy. It has also obviously increased competition significantly now. A lot of so earlier in cloud kitchen, you were only talking about casual dining restaurants getting into delivery, right? Now you're talking about fine dining restaurants also getting into delivery. So the competition and people are creating virtual brands, right? So you had the traditional QSR brands, casual dining brands, fine dining, and the virtual brands now. So in a way, the competition is very high. I think people are going to, for the next 5-7 years, I feel are strongly going to focus on managing their brand and creating a company at scale, then trying to innovate more over here. Um, uh, at this time, looking at the trends, we are not seeing any major disruption going forward. What will happen is there could be minor incremental changes in the business model here and there, which will be done by technology, as we can see, by completely automating the kitchen, maybe making it a complete chef-free kitchen. At this point of time, cloud kitchen is still a very chef-oriented model, but yet less on the, it's more on the standard operating procedures. But I feel that it could probably become completely automated kitchens, which is one of the models that Rebel Food is doing, that the entire process is now automated. They don't technically need a staff in the kitchen. So that's the only incremental advantage I see. Beyond that, I don't necessarily think that there's going to be a major changes. I think at the end of the day, when it comes to fire and cooking, you need a staff, a couple of at least staff members in the kitchen to manage the operations. So it won't be completely staff free, but yeah, it could gradually get to a point where it will be lesser and lesser staff in the kitchen.
Mr. Rajan, with your due permission, can I ask a very small question from Mr. Sagar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mr. Sagar, we are currently have a client. This company is, is a company which is leveraging the home kitchen by women who are cooking at home, and it is also using it as a distribution point for distributing the standardized food packets. So you said that you are not very bullish on the home kitchen part. So if you could just throw some more light on that.
So I think this was, interesting, Tushar. I think in the past, I think Hola Chef tried doing this a lot, right? They had a very strong home kitchen model. If I understand this correctly, they were partnering with these upcoming chefs. They were partnering with existing chefs. They were partnering with women entrepreneurs, and getting the food delivered from the getting it cooked in the house and getting it delivered. I think there was a lot of challenges with consistency and the quality, right? And that led
They
to
are
a
just
lot of.
getting it warmed up. So they are just saying that the woman at the kitchen can just warm up the packet and distribute it. So they are trying to standardize it in some way.
So yeah, I think as long if you perfect the model of the entire cooking and delivery because at the end of the day, if you look at all the existing models, they have all standardized the process, right? It's become more of almost like a commodity. There's no innovation over there. Like anybody can come and start it as long as you have the capital today, right? Obviously, somebody has a little bit leg up over there. So I think if you standardize the model and if you can effectively deliver the food in less than 30 minutes, and the taste, the quality, the consistency remains, then why not, right? You don't want to be a situation where the food getting delivered from a particular house or a kitchen is in a way damaged in terms of packaging, spoiled, or in any capacity, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with consumer and consumer experience.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Rajan.
Zaid, you tell me, I think you are in the panel. See, you are operating a lot of cloud kitchens. Do you think this kitchen automation, robotic automation all coming in the kitchens, do you think it will improve unit economics if you employ them?
Your voice is not coming, Mr. Zaid.
My voice is not audible?
No, Mr. Rajan, your voice is coming. Mr. Zaid's voice is not coming.
Zaid, your voice?
Okay, now it should be fine.
Yeah.
So we were saying about the automation.
You are operating a lot of kitchens. What is the robotic automation, cloud kitchen automation? Robotics are coming in the kitchen. Do you think that if we employ robotics, we can improve the unit economics and delivery, hygiene? What do you think?
1,000,000%. So we used to be mass caterers in terms of the corporate world here in Dubai, and we actually started in 2015 looking at automations and machinery and so many other robotics, even for room service for hotels.
Okay.
Definitely, because we were suffering, and we still are, in terms of consistency in foods and recipes and matrix of menus, etc. And in today's world, and even before, there was quite a few robots that can actually standardize your recipes, but it was not to the capacity that we were looking for. But today, I think, yes, there's so much innovation happening in that era, and we believe it's definitely the future of food cooking, you may say. Staff will be required, but when it comes to deliveries and cloud kitchen, this is a whole different era. It has its own audience, and before in the presentation of Ashish or Sandeep, was it from Red Steer, he was mentioning that once a week somebody would order delivery, or once a month, or so on. And it's the same case whether you're going to order once a week for delivery, and you're going to go out once a week on a weekend as well. You're going to eat in a dine-in restaurant. So I don't think it will be killing any terms of job losses or anything like that. These are two different models. We are 100% with automating kitchen.
Just a thought over there, Rajan. And Zaid, I've seen this. I've seen this been talked about a lot that automation is going to improve the margins and unit economics. At the end of the day, it comes down to delivery, right? Because whether you cook in 12 minutes or 15 minutes, if the guy is not able to deliver in 15, 20 minutes, then at the end of the day, delivery cost is not going to reduce, right? And in delivery, unfortunately, you're still very dependent on drivers. You're very still dependent upon a lot of external factors which is not under your control. So I feel that it may improve the margins by 0.5% if because that's the reduction in staff cost. Your quality and consistency might improve a little bit more. I don't see substantial change, is at least based on what I've seen in the past. I've not seen a substantial change in the bottom line. Contribution margin has not really changed substantially. But yeah, I think time will tell. Maybe tomorrow the technology might be a lot more advanced, and it could be done probably in 5 minutes time versus 20 minutes time or 15 minutes time of cooking. So that could change the game slightly. Second, I think delivery has to change, right? Because we are still in the traditional the driver model. What is happening is that obviously at every society, every communities, you have a lot of gate entrance challenges, right? Then you have to obviously go back, pick up the delivery, go back, make sure consumers are at the door. So a lot of delivery challenges are still there. I think if you solve that problem big time, right? I think even if a 5 minute saving, as Sandeep mentioned, and as the first gentleman also mentioned over there, Ashish, that even a 5 minute saving can make a lot of difference versus Domino's versus a Pizza Hut, right? So I think delivery, they're talking about drone delivery, which I don't know if it's feasible or not. That's some conversation that's going on in the market. Obviously, US is a hub of innovation. So when you see something happening in the US and scaling up, you didn't need to bring it to Dubai. As simple as that. So I would just follow the trend in the US. I think they're far advanced in terms of innovation. So it'll be interesting to wait and watch what happens further down the line.
I think there is already autonomous vehicles coming in for delivery. I've been approached by a Dubai-based entrepreneur. He is launching in European market. Same autonomous vehicles delivery. So that will take time. I think that will take next 5 years. It will evolve. So I want to ask Jose. Yeah.
So there is a robotic company I work very closely with here in Gurgaon. So they have created robos for 4 types of robos. One is for food delivery, for robotic scavenging, for disinfection using ultraviolet rays, and for education. And the pricing of their robo starts from $11,000 as compared to Germ Falcon for the same robo, which starts at $70,000. So on the pricing bit, there is something which is possible and which can lower the unit cost. And also in the COVID time, because contactless services are needed, so robotics can also work there. That's
What's the name of the company?
I'll introduce you to them, sir. I'll contact you on LinkedIn for the same.
Wonderful.
Jose, I want to ask you.
Yeah, so I will.
Animoy Technologies.
Okay. So Jose, I want to put a question to you. Last question. So you are in the food tech space, right? And the cloud kitchen is always looking for value add, especially at pandemic times, food security, food delivery, hygienic. So that way you can contribute anything using technologies.
So I am really enjoying this conversation, the insights from Sagar, from Tushar, from Zaid. It's really giving me, angles that I was thinking about and how to address. So just to give you an example, I've been thinking much about the perception that the consumers and even the industry, the restaurateurs has on the cloud kitchen. So this is very important to overcome potential bad perception, because there is some perception, for example, in the fees, on the on the cost structure side. It's interesting to innovate, not to work only on the game of the efficiency. So efficiency, it's very important. This is a game of efficiency predominantly, but on the other side, I think there are opportunities to work on the traceability aspect, on the sustainability aspect, to integrate other technologies that will give that differentiation. So you don't need to have a disruptive innovation to differentiate. And I think that's very important. So, for example, talking about the access to the clients, right, to deliver to the clients. Delivery in Portugal, just to give you an example, some of the brands like Unilever and so on, they are partnering with Deliveroo or with Uber Eats to have a channel of a direct to consumer channel. So I think as the cloud kitchen it's consolidated as a platform, it will integrate other verticals, or it will try to iterate in different verticals. But also it has, I think, in my view, the opportunity to integrate other technologies as well, to innovate in technologies that will enhance either the consumer experience, the customer experience, or will align more with their values. This is, for me, it's key. I don't know if that addressed.
Mr. Rajan, your voice is not coming. It's
Rajan, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now it's okay. You are again on mute by mistake. Yeah, now it's okay.
So let's conclude and summarize based on the discussion. The market is bullish, but how many players it can accommodate in the GCC UAE region? Sagar, you can throw a final summary on that, so that the startups are encouraged.
No, I think the opportunity set is massive, right? I think we are Cloud Kitchen is still a 3 to 5 year old model. I think it started really breaking out in 2015, 16 in global markets, right? Till then, it was still a test of, or it was, I would say, still a proof of concept model over there. We feel it's a large opportunity next 10 years, great market. You need to find out your strengths. You need to find out your niches where you think you can scale up the business. You can every founder has his own business strength. I always say that, and I think one should stick to that. And if you, without really focusing much on competition, but focusing on what you can build a solid product or a platform for the end consumer, really solving the consumer problem, improving his experience by 10x, right? That's when the consumer will come to you. That's when your product becomes more viable, sustainable, and it is much easier to sell at the same time, right? And that's where we are looking for entrepreneurs and founders in situations like these who are really improving the consumer experience by 10x and giving them a better service and a better quality. And then consumer will be willing to shell out more money for that.
Thank you. Now, Tushar, you tell me, how do you see the outlook?
No, I feel that in this COVID scenario, although we have seen high double-digit growth in cloud kitchens across the GCC and MENA region, I feel although the vaccine might be around the corner, the right one, which works at good temperatures and stuff like that, and can be easily stored and administered, I still feel that this double-digit growth is here to stay. At the point at which there will be too many cloud kitchens, that point is still some time away. So we are in bullish times in the cloud kitchen market.
Thank you. So, Vandana, you tell me, what's your outlook?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
We are summarizing the session. So, what is your outlook for the GCC MENA region? How the startups, how many players can be accommodated? Whether the market is big enough to accommodate?
Yes, market is definitely big enough to accommodate, especially in this region, and they are very good in technology. And I'm very much sure that sooner or later they will really do well. This space will do really well in this region the most because they are very high tech in the technology. And if they really encourage women to get into this space, they'll get more traction. That's my take here.
So, Jose, you tell me, it's a billion-dollar industry, food tech industry. So, what is your outlook on that?
Well, I think, they are becoming the main and sometimes the only sales channels for restaurants, right? So we are in a city, in a country where we use a lot the restaurants. So So now, how long this trend will, will be sustained? This is the, the million question, right? The $1 million question. So I think their fees has to be adapted to the let's say, to accommodate the willingness to pay of the operators of the restaurants. I think that will come from efficiencies. So working on the efficiencies is crucial. But I think the innovation will come also through, exploring what are the highest potential of this platform to develop new verticals, to identify new niches of opportunity, to work on the customer experience. This is very much needed as well. I think, talking about more sustainable fleet of vehicles, for example, talking about other line of products like beverages, like meal kits ready to cook, for example, that are by itself, they are already food tech companies. So I think there is a lot room to grow. I mean, so I see it's a tailwind for this project. Yeah.
Yes, some of the sectors are tailwinds. Zaid, you like to share something about the
Um,
market?
we're just gonna say that from a personal experience. I mean, companies in cloud kitchens that are raising money have been a suffering for a company like us, for example, because we are profitable from day one, and surprisingly, all the big players in the cloud kitchen market, I would say a lot of them are not profitable, and has caused us a little bit of a demotivation in terms of operating our own restaurants and not just bringing in partners. We did operate a few of we still are operating a few of our own restaurants, but we're just doing it to keep our staff busy and not because of the margins at all. And so, I mean, my last words would be, I think, for investors to really seek the margins of these companies. And I understand it's a whole data driven model, but I think there's also room for a deeper investment, if that's a term to be used. So that's it from our side.
That's a great opinion of yours. Welcome. So thank you all panelists for sparing the precious time here. It was a great insight discussion. So it will enlighten all the startups who have been watching. We'll be restreaming this video in LinkedIn, Facebook on Monday onwards. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much,
much.
Mr. Rajan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
blessed
you.
day.
Thank you,
Bye.
Vandana.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.